Go right ahead. He was about to talk about this movie Butt Boy that
yeah.
shout out to our brothers over at Video Store Clerks that Chadman was talking about. But go ahead, take it away, James.
All right. Well, I was just saying that earlier today I tried to watch a movie that was suggested by Chad, like you said, from Video Store Clerks, and it's called Butt Boy. So I put it on. So it started off normal. It's like it's just a guy sitting there depressed. I'm like, okay, he's married. I'm like, okay. Then all of a sudden he's getting kinky. He's like, he wants like started with a finger in his butt. But soon my wife is sitting there and she's just looking, she's crocheting and she looks up, puts her head back down. But soon as we got a part where he shoved the remote in his ass, she said, did he just put a remote in his ass? And I said, yeah. She's like, yeah, okay, turn the shit off. She's like, I can't deal with this. So I had to turn it off. So I got it to be continued.
Okay. Was this Japanese? Because that would make sense.
No, it's not. So the premise of this movie is this guy has like a black hole of an asshole. And he just keeps trying to fit things in his ass. Then there's a kid missing in the town. This is the plot, I guess. So a missing kid. So there's a kid gets sucked in his ass, I guess. That's what Chad.
You know what? We may have to review this. We may have to review this movie for like a special thing because
that's why I wanted to watch it because it sounded fun. But anyways, back to the show.
I'm having an anal fixation
about the missing child. That's wild.
Can one really go further than protagonist ingest child through sphincter? I mean, how do you go beyond that in a description?
I don't know.
Throws the child up and the child's fine. Farts him out.
We'll find out. I didn't get there. I'm just going off what Chad said.
This sounds this sounds even better than Trash Humpers.
Wait, whoa!
Fuck? Wait. You can't say a title of that. What the hell is that?
Okay, so do you guys remember a movie called Kids?
Yes.
In the 90s.
Yep. Good movie.
It was written by.
I've never seen that movie, by the way.
Well, it's amazing. It's really amazing. Larry Clark. But it was written by one of the real life street kids, Harmony Korine. Harmony Korine then went on to do a very, very out there film called Gumo, which is, there's nothing like it. But Harmony Korine started to do things that were a little bit more commercial. And she ended up doing, they ended up doing this old film that was about Marilyn Monroe and Michael Jackson. But Korine's first feature film, and it does run roughly about an hour and 15 minutes, is a shot on video film called Trash Humpers. And it's two guys with old man mask on, humping trash cans and various other things with the bare minimum of any kind of plot. The whole point of the movie is to try to be as absurd to the point that it becomes annoying and it's an endurance test to watch. But I will say maybe Butt Boy might, in a blackjack game, it could be either one.
I gotta watch that
Butt
too.
Boy or Trash Humpers.
I gotta watch it. That's hilarious.
That's a duo.
And the Trash Humpers was available on the Criterion channel for it. So yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I guess that's another thing I can add on to the SirSturdy, the HorrorWithSirSturdy TikToks, these weird ass movies like that. Or it's like, you know what, we may not sit down and give you guys a full review, but I'll watch them and kind of talk about them on TikTok.
Oh man,
a little bit. Because that's a wide. I may have to check those out. But we're not here for that tonight, guys, ladies and gents, people, horror fans, Sturd-o-Nights, whatever, Sturd-o-Nights.
Sturd-o-Nights.
Yep, that's what they're called now, Sturd-o-Nights.
Nights.
But we're here for this movie, Loose. And again, this movie had me confused as shit. So we're gonna dive into it.
I was confused in the beginning for a little bit, like probably like 40 minutes, like 30 minutes, half hour in. But then it started clicking a little bit what was
And
going on.
you know what I want to say too is this movie wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be.
Hour and 10 minutes. It's
Yeah,
very
I thought I like going into it and the type of movie that it is or what you feel it is. I don't know what. You're thinking it's gonna be like an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute movie, but an hour and 10 minutes. I was like, this is a really quick watch. I was like, oh shit. I'm still confused.
Although this wasn't Tilman Singer's official student film, he had another film called El Fin del Mundo, which was a German-Colombian produced short. But this film was not necessarily something that was supposed to really get out there, but when they finished it, they decided they were going to enter it into film festivals with the assumption that if nothing else, if you get accepted, great, we're seen at a film festival. This film actually started doing very, very well at film festivals and was really well received at some of the fantastic film festivals like Stinges and stuff like that. And the life of this movie was kind of by chance. Tilman Singer now is known for a film that I believe came out. I have not seen it, but it's called Cuckoo, and that is his American or North American debut, United States debut as a director.
Really quick on that movie, Cuckoo. I believe that's going to be on. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it's going to be on Shudder in the next couple of weeks.
I hope so.
It might be out already because it's on our site.
Cool.
I'll have to. I'll check.
I'm curious where
Nick
Tilman
reviewed it,
knows
I think, right?
from here. Yeah,
he reviewed it from theaters though, because there was that, and there was another movie, Oddity, I wanted to check out, which is coming out very soon. I want to check both of those out actually.
Okay.
Well, James, I'm really curious about your interpretation of the film.
Okay, this is where I got. So I was confused. This is where So it starts off. She's in a police station. I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay. Then it's like saying shit. Then she leaves. Then she's in a cab or something. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Right. So now I'm getting confused because it's doing this flashback, her driving, getting an accident, or her picking up her friend in the back seat. It's like a lot of weird shit going. And until I noticed, I'm like, okay, I noticed the supernatural part. So there's this, I believe there's this fucking demon that's possessing the people to get to her. It wants her for some reason. I'm not 100% sure. They keep going flashing back in the past for some school. I don't know if that's the connection or not. I don't know. Some demon is like obsessed with her. I don't know why. Following her. And then the therapist comes in. Then he gets possessed. That's when 100% I was like, oh, this is definitely a demon thing. Now he's possessed. I'm like, the fuck is going on? Because at first I didn't know this was going to be supernatural. I thought this was just like a mind fuck type of movie. You're like, what's going on here? So that's what I take what happened in this movie.
I had a feeling it had to be some sort of demonic or paranormal type of thing. I mean, just from the cover alone, and when that actually happens in the movie, and I'm just like, okay. So I kind of get that part of it.
I forgot about the cover. I
think what you were saying though, James, about how like at one point she's in the cab or like, and then another point she's in the police station, and then she's in that room, like, and it's like this big ass room that's kind of dark greenish color, I believe, a bunch of fucking chairs, and I'm just
getting hypnotized.
I don't know, pretty much, yeah.
Because they want to know what happened that night, because she crashed the cab or they killed the girl. Or I'm like, what the hell's going on? It was a little confusing, but it had my attention because it's like a puzzle. I'm trying to put it together. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, okay. So what'd you get out of it?
Well, first of all, I want to say your interpretation is very much what, if you read the description on IMDb, it's pretty straightforward. Did you have that, Sturdy? You could read it, or
Yeah,
No,
I pulled it up in Chat GPT, and I was just
okay,
kind of, as James was talking about, I'm kind of skimming
yeah,
just for myself to get a
is
better
it?
understanding. What he's saying is pretty much what it is that
yeah.
the
It was
demon.
like so a Luz walks into a police station. With her comes an entity that somehow follows her or continues to follow her to basically it's almost like a strange love story.
Hmm.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I've seen this film
That's weird. Okay.
twice and none of that came to mind.
No,
I
I didn't.
watched it.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I didn't get any of that. To
No.
me, it was completely thematic. Um, it was okay. So right off the bat, there's a lot of references to older horror cinema. Let's take, the real basic thing here. One of which is wonderful, is the very few films actually reference Tobe Hooper's Life Force, which is this great movie that everybody hates, but it was really supposed to be called Space Vampires. But it
hmm.
is about aliens who feed off souls. And there's references there. The music in itself is yet again referencing a cross between John Carpenter and Goblin. From there, it really, in my opinion, starts getting very, very interesting. And let's tackle the first elephant in the room. Is why is this film in German, Spanish,
Yes.
French, English, and it's literally communicated at any point among the small group of characters. And many times the characters just flat out conflict themselves by saying, well, I don't speak this, and then this stuff. So, you know, for me, I think it's playing with language on a couple levels. At one point, when Dr. Rosini, which is an interesting side note in itself, a German dentist, part-time consultant for psychiatric issues. Yes, that's what he is. Yeah, it just so he is German. There's no question about that. But it's okay. So the language thing to me. Okay, so my first take was I started noticing, of course, you can't watch this film and not think David Lynch. There's very Lynchian quality to it. But also, once I figured out it was made in Germany and what it was doing, as specifically with the small group area, very small cast, very sparse, virtually no outside images. The great subversive German filmmaker Rainer Werner Fassbinder. So it definitely makes a lot of allusions to his film. But okay, so this is where the language thing is for me. What does German represent in the film? It's a very guttural language. It's a very masculine language. It is also the language of Germany. Germany is a country that lives with an amazing amount of guilt. And also, based on the fact that Luz, who she is Spanish or Latina, depending, it doesn't tell you. There's some references to Colombia, which is kind of cute because the short film was partially produced in Colombia. You don't have any idea, except she's wearing a hat that says Chile. After the war, now Chile wasn't as involved as Argentina, but a large influx of Germans fled from Germany to the Chile Argentina part of South America, and they were at the time able to get in with amnesty. So a real base kind of reading for me on that is Germany still represents this very oppressive thing that is also kind of came into parts of Latin America and were embraced with more arms than the actual people of those countries by their leaders. Also, Spanish is very much a love language, where you hear German. Not saying anything bad about German, but it does, sound sometimes like you're going to hawk a loogie. And Spanish is a very beautiful language. So
Yep.
I thought that was an interesting dichotomy that sell a lot for the film. Because actually there's one point where Dr. Rosini, or whatever he might be at the time, walks back to the booth that is a translation booth, which is hilarious considering the film. And well, he heads back to there. Wait, hold that thought. Oh, okay. Yes. He says there's a question about, do you speak Spanish? Do you speak Spanish? And references something to, I've known it since it began.
Mm.
And that to me made it feel almost somewhat colonial. And whatever Luz is, I didn't take it as a demonic force. I took it as something that could be guilt, could be trauma, could itself be the light that many, many people lose based on generational guilt and also oppression. Nothing what the supposedly the film's about. So
portrayed. Yeah, I mean,
Damn.
that's awesome. You got that from this film. That is awesome. You got that from this film, and it makes
that's not that's just kind of a, for me. I think honestly, the takeaway from the film was, okay, so it references, so Luz just walks into a police station. She is being interrogated, and we feel that she's being interrogated with a reason. There is no reason. There is no rhyme or reason. We don't know anything about her. We don't know about anything going on. But little things come out, whether it be the discussion between Dr. Rosini, which yet again, that brings me back to fascist Germany, and also giving him an Italian name to connect him to Benito Mussolini. I thought that was kind of funny. But yet again, your reference to the Catholic school, your reference to Luz having the ability to tell that something was going to happen. There was going to be a horrible event. Luz is connected to who I feel Margarita is in the film, and it's just literally touched upon like once. And that is, Luz is approached because one of her classmates believes they're pregnant. Luz, if nothing else, believes that she is a medium. She believes, at least, that if she thinks it or it happens to her, it must. So that there, even though she's fighting that, in my opinion, there's enough information given that there's something special about her. But I don't think it's demonic, honestly. Okay, so let's stick with the guilt era when it comes to religion, and it comes to being a female in something extraordinarily patriarchal, like the Catholic Church or any church in that example. That's where that light is. Where's that Luz? It's almost as like the light is taken away once we are made to fear our own trauma. Because, I mean, okay, I'll ask you guys. So she continually says a prayer that basically says, "Oh Father who sucks dick in heaven, hallowed be thy name, and pertaining to a grandpa's crotch.
Is that
Now,
the really quick before I
yeah,
forget, is that the same thing she was saying when she first came to the police station?
yeah,
Same demonic
continual.
prayer or whatever? Okay,
And the
okay.
thing is, I
Mhm.
don't think it's a demonic prayer. I personally feel, with all the references to guilt in this, whether it be pertaining to Margarita, whether it pertaining to literally something as simple as, wait, your skirt is this many centimeters, I will beat you.
Mhm.
I'm going to forcefully put the tongue thing down your throat. I mean, we don't have to, talk about Freud to understand that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think the light is what has been stolen through the guilt of trauma. And I took the prayers to actually be quite literal. And that would also potentially lost her light, or was always trying to obtain her life after those people in her life who should AE potentially past trauma that was of a
Oh, shit.
molestation nature was all
Hmm.
connected to that. Now, I'm going to flat out say, even though I'm yabbering whatever, I do feel slightly embarrassed because I've seen this film twice and never bothered to look at the synopsis. So I went into this film both times just going, okay, this is all thematics. So it feels a little weird to just kind of go off on some of these theories and not having a lot of time because you feel like they're probably half baked. But after seeing this movie like an hour ago, this is the stuff that was popping around in my mind.
Listen, I like it. I like it. And
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
makes sense to me.
I guess it's one of those things too where they say art is subjective and all that, and
Hmm.
you're watching a specific film or specific story, especially something like this,
Hmm.
to where it's not like 100% clear as to what it's saying. You know what I mean?
Well, everything is ambiguous about the film.
To where it's like
If you watch it
Titanic.
without
Mm.
knowing it,
You know what I mean?
well,
Like
yeah.
Titanic, you watch the movie, you know what the fuck happened. The boat,
Exactly.
it didn't make it. This
Mhm.
movie, it's you could be telling whatever you're telling for your story makes sense and it's right in my opinion. Same with James and
Mhm.
same with whatever I got from it. And I feel like it's just left so open to be that, but
Mhm.
to also be what the synopsis says.
Well, it's interesting also when you think about the fact of like, approaching a movie and not bothering to like, oh, this looks really interesting. I'm just going to watch it. And I remember the first time I watched it, the first thing that hit my head was this is Lynchian. This is so referential to David Lynch. And with that, it just latched on to films like Eraserhead, Lost Highway,
Mhm.
films that, if nothing else, do a great job with awkward silences and sparseness that, so when I started watching Loose for the first time, I watched it like a David Lynch film, which may not be what Mr. Springer has in mind, but yeah.
How long ago did you see this the first time?
I saw it when it first came out,
Oh, okay.
and it kind of around 2018, 2019.
Okay.
And that's like, and it was recommended to me because it was like, well, this is a really kind of David Lynchian kind of bizarre film.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, literally, I feel like anything I can say is not in any way enough because I had such little time. I mean, this where we said some movies are like, you keep going back, you keep going back. This
Mhm.
was one of those things where there were images and you're like going back and going back. And apparently you were just like, okay, I'm just letting this run
I gotta finish this.
because I'm constantly going to be, well, wait, did they explain that there? Did they explain that
Yep.
there? Wait, when she is pretending, well, okay, we didn't even talk about that. The idea of hypnosis. Yet again, Dr. Rosini, the psychiatric dentist on call, um, uh, right there, it it almost flusters me to talk about, because there's just so much can be pulled from this movie. Yeah, it's a wild ride, and I think it's one of those great movies to literally be like, okay, I'm gonna sit here, I'm just going to let this just encompass me, and whatever I get out of it, even if it's nothing, is a wonderful thing. And it's short too. You brought up it's it doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yep.
In my opinion, which is really impressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Like, because again, this one confused me a lot, and I'll admit it. It's probably something I should probably go back to,
Mhm.
especially after the conversations we're having tonight. Go back to it and definitely check it out again. Maybe even soon. Maybe even tomorrow. Honestly, maybe I'll throw it back on tomorrow and just kind of give it a little rewatch, just to kind of absorb
Yeah.
between what we talked about today, and then just kind of maybe getting a better understanding of it. Because I was just like, what is, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
yeah.
what is going on?
It's like you told me, especially, as I said, I saw it when it first came out. I just thought it was a real wonderful mind fucking fun.
Mm-hmm.
And this time I was like, okay, cool. I'm actually gonna sit, I'm gonna focus on it. And it's just, it, yeah, there are so many different things you can read in this film that you do without so much time. You start talking about it and your mind changes. It's like,
Yep.
well, maybe not as much. Um, there are very few films like it, and I hope
Yeah.
Cuckoo is as interesting. If not, I'm going to be really disappointed.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, this one here, like you're saying, it's one of those ones where we've mentioned a few minutes ago, where
Mhm.
it's whatever you interpret from it. I don't feel you're wrong, just because it's
Mhm.
so. It is really that open and really that, like, it's not that direct. Like, this is what it is. This is
Mhm.
what it is. 100%. Or maybe I just didn't see that.
Well,
Maybe I'll watch it again.
sorry to interrupt, but the hypnotism I was touching upon, I ended up being derailed.
Yeah.
But the hypnotism itself, besides the fact that it's really bizarre how the language works in it, it would make no conceivable sense in logic. But that in itself is so you it's very important, in my opinion, that Dr. Rosini is who he is and is portrayed in what the way he is, because by hypnotizing Luce, it then starts you wondering a bit, is Luce reliving her past, or is it somehow being manipulated
Mm.
by that? But then again, you look at it and go, well, why would that be? I mean, I'm sure the scene in which Dr. Rosini walks up to the sound booth, takes all of his clothing off, puts on a dress, and then
Yep.
puts on a coat that I believe was Orlante's, who is the woman at the beginning who comes off like a sex worker, but actually is more something akin of a body snatcher. So the first thing in the film that really grabs you is, oh, this could be like a body snatcher film. And it is, but not in the way that you think it is. And that's why I think the demonic possession thing is just an easy way out of a very complex film.
Ah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's what I was. That's another part that got me is when the whole scene with the chairs and stuff, and the girl shows up and she calls Luce over to kiss her.
Mhm.
She's like, come over here and give me a kiss. They start talking for a little bit, and then when they start kissing, and it goes back to the guy in the dress,
Mhm.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
Mhm.
That right there. So yeah, that right there. So
Well, I mean, definitely the film plays a great deal with identity. Also, I mean, because it is all about characters not honestly knowing who they potentially are, or scared of who they are, or potentially. See, I honestly instead of demonic, I honestly prefer the idea of almost that it is a soul almost on an extraterrestrial level because of quotes like Dr. Roselli's like, I have known Spanish since it began. You know, that's, you know, in my reading without looking at a synopsis was more that.
Okay.
And that's why I brought up about Tobe Hooper's Space Vampires or Life Force, is there's a lot of visuals taken from that film. And yeah, the film, it's interesting because the film doesn't have a time period. It really doesn't. I mean, the only thing it really tells you is kind of 80s style. And yeah, they're using pagers, so that at least puts it in maybe like a 15-year area. But I think it's also done because it does give it somewhat of a throwback feel to a lot of minimalist classic horror films, a lot like the early John Carpenter stuff. So I mean, Tilman definitely has an eye for movies in a way that are, you know, referential to the movies that influence him. It's just, I do think he goes really, really deep. And one thing I will say that might really be crazy, and I'll get your guys' take on it, but at the end of the film, the police detective, Beryllium, I believe, or something of that effect, walks loose to the front of the police station, in which she hands over whatever she might need to hand over, not explained, to Luce, and Luce slowly leaves. The gentleman in the sound booth, in German, very loudly, stop her, shoot, shoot, shoot. And I took that even in itself like the loss of innocence by, you know, Luce almost being representative of somebody who would be shot down by a evil military machine. And I watched the end of it and I thought of a film like Come and See, which, you know, is a very, very dark war film. But yet again, it's like, you know, maybe I am just way, way reading too much into this, and I'm giving this guy way too much credit, and I hope I'm not.
I'll give you the dumbed down version. This is what I got from it.
Go.
So the end, she lost the battle. She got possessed.
Okay.
And that's how it ended. It's inside her. So the demon, whatever that entity, won. Because she was fighting it. She was fighting it at first. But then all of a sudden, it just made it seem like, oh, it got her. Because how she walked out of the building, like you said, the cop. And she just
she walked walking in the same way.
Yeah. I don't know.
So did it ever leave her?
I guess not.
I don't know. You're right. I don't know. Now you're confused me.
I mean, because I mean, she okay. So in the film, we never see Luz transfer anything to Oriente. I mean, they come close to each other and everything, but there's no light transition. But Oriente is the first to present the light to Dr. You know, Rosini or whatever.
It's right here, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that to me, that doesn't add up completely, because did she ever have it to begin with?
I don't know now. I don't know.
You're
right. You're right.
I mean, it's I think it's best digested as a group of images and a use of language that is so playful in a very dark, traumatic way.
Let's play how smart AI is. Aaron, ask ChatGPT, explain the ending.
I'm curious what ChatGPT says. What is the plot of, you know, Tilman Singer's Loose? That's curious.
It's going to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
Fuck you asking me? It's gonna say ask Trevor.
we
Yes.
closed our eyes for a second, and AI doesn't even know what this is about
Yo,
because
that'd be
you feel
hilarious.
horribly
Ask
like
Trevor.
what line
You
did I
know that.
lose? Ooh, sleep
So
tight.
sleep
Never,
tight, and
never
then
seen
if
this.
if it picks a movie that has a sequel, I'll just respin it so we can do that movie the following, another time.
All
Mhm.
right. So that means we don't have that many options for it to
No, we
land on.
do.
'Cause-
We have a couple options. I don't remember, but I'm just saying, just in case it lands on
all right.
one of those films.
Oh, I'm gonna finally watch Battle Royale. At some point.
Yeah.
Awesome movie.
Yes, it
Awesome,
is.
awesome film.
And you had to. It was something I wanted to see again, and it was something I was like, James. I wanted James. I'm like, you got to see this, man. So
Just avoid the sequel.
see, I didn't hate the sequel, and boom, it looks like we're gonna be watching it next week, next
There you
Thursday.
go. Look at that. I called it.
Yes.
Battle Royale.
What day
Sweet.
will that be?
You know
That's
what?
Thursday.
Hang on one second. What was the other movie again? Sleep
Tight.
Sleep
that-
tight.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do Battle Royale for Tuesday with the video store clerks, and
Okay.
then just swap the movies around.
Okay.
Because I think Battle Royale will be more fun for all of us. I've seen it before too. It was fun.
All
It
right.
was crazy.
Fine by me.
But
After you see that movie, the whole big dystopian youth literature Hunger Games thing, you just go, oh wow, you guys stole a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. I heard. That's
like-
what I heard. I heard.
Yep.
so it's
The novel is amazing also.
I think I seen the Hunger Games movie first, like the first two or whatever.
Mhm.
And then I watched both the Battle Royale movies, and I was like, holy shit, what the hell's the Hunger Games?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Like the
Okay.
Hunger Games is like Disney compared to freaking Battle Royale. I don't
Yeah.
remember what the Hunger Games was
well,
rated.
now
but
that movie is and novel are very freaking political, and they're supposed to be. So there's not a lot of like rant like this film in which you could just like spend days finding meaning in. Battle Royale it makes a very distinct statement.
Yep, and that's
Okay.
it. Like this is
Yep.
what we're about. That's all you need to know.
Nice.
Such, oh man, I'm excited.
Oh, I'm it's actually funny. My partner Hannah and I were just recently around possibly revisit.
Now you got a reason. Tuesday Battle Royale. Oh, I'm so freaking excited for that movie because it's just I can't wait to hear all of our thoughts on it. But I'll say you, James, because you've never seen it, and me and you've been talking about this movie for the past couple of years. This is one of those ones we've been talking about, and it's like haven't thrown on the wheel for whatever reason, or maybe it was on a wheel and then we revised some things or whatever, and now it's finally here. And oh man,
Yeah, never seen it.
It is a great film.
You mentioned it after we watched the Raid films. You're like, you never seen Battle Royale? And I was like, no.
Yeah. Yes. That was back when we did which for those of you that may have been around and saw it, the 10 episodes we did, it was called the Cinematic Canon, which was a fun show. It was just a lot at the time. But
Yeah.
I still have that list of movies. And there was a lot of movies on that list that I may have to go through, and we may have to just check them out on Popcorn and Pints or something, because there was a lot of good movies on there. That's where we seen Le Two. Such a great film.
That is a good movie.
Such a great film. Like,
Oh, yeah.
who would have thought watching a prison break film, a French prison break film in black and white would have been so good.
Yeah.
So we reviewed that, and all three of us liked that. Or no, we did that on Popcorn and Pints.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Chris watched that with us too, and we really enjoyed. Like all of us really enjoyed that movie.
Mhm.
But we
Well,
did more movies similar to that.
It's funny, but of course, the prison break film is a sole separate genre. But of course, Scorsese and Coppola and all that kind of stuff are given so much, credit for it. And I'm not saying either, especially about Scorsese, anything wrong, but shaping the mafia film. French mafia and gangster films are just amazing. Jean-Claude Melville did films like Les Samurai. the Red Circle, and you have classics like Rafifi, which is the
Yes.
ultimate bank
we seen
job
Rafifi.
film.
We
Oh,
seen
and then,
Rafifi.
of
I don't
course, Nick
remember.
and I will continue to sing the praises of Wages of Fear. Yeah, uh, you digging deep into French cinema is something that I highly recommend people. And if you're scared because like if you've just like appeared, like, oh, I'm going to watch something French beyond Amelie, and then I watch a Jean-Luc Godard film and go, why the hell have I just watched an hour and a half of a couple arguing while driving down a road in which people are suffering, and then they eventually decide to stop and grab a bite by just eating somebody. Not all French film is like that, although that is a great film called Weekend, which I highly recommend. But yeah, there's a lot of grimy, fun stuff that came out of France. A lot of mafia style. And it's weird because yet again, you also look at the Japanese and in which you look at the Yakuza films, and they also really influenced, what was going to be the traditional gangster film. So what that eventually became was this amalgamation of all these different kinds of cinemas and a lot of like, very connected family uh portrayals. Like Coppola, a lot of The Godfather is based on shit that he knew from family members. But yeah, so and somehow he got there from France, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. There's a lot. There's a lot of good fucking film out there, people.
That's great. There's so and that's one of the real wonders about world cinema. And a lot of people, subtitles scare a lot of people, and I hate to tell you, yeah, they won't be less scary as you get older when you start automatically putting the closed captions on. And when you've come to understand you have to do that based on your eyesight, like myself, then open yourself up to just finally watching subtitled movies, because
Mm-hmm.
you're doing it already, and it's this way to travel the world and travel time periods that is just lovely.
It is, and honestly, it's another reason why I started the whole. I mean, we were doing foreign horror films all the time. We used to have just a wheel. We used to have a wheel for it.
Mhm.
But then when I started switching things up to more theme wise, I was like, let's just, the backpack and sturdy.
Mhm.
Let's make that 2 months, because I do, during that time it's once a week. So I'm like, let's get as much out as we can. Let's get 8 movies out there and let's do them. And now for the rest of this year, for the podcast portion of it, at least, going to be
Mhm.
doing it. TikToks will be jumping back and forth between foreign and
I
whatever.
really have enjoyed the TikToks you've been doing for these
Appreciate that.
programs.
Appreciate that. I've been having so much fun with it, and here's my problem.
Okay.
So I do my whole Sturd-o-Ween thing, which is 61 days doing a movie,
Mhm.
and all that stuff, and I have a blast with it. And then I tell myself during this whole time, like, I need to continue this and just do this every day, because I really do enjoy this, and I enjoy the connection when I do get the connection with people, because I love horror and talking horror and
Mhm.
movies in general. And then November 1st hits and November 2nd hits, and it's just like I'm done. And not even it just like I just stop. But like I got to continue to keep.
Mhm.
So I got to just like I have some this time I have lists and all this other stuff and going,
Mhm.
and it's fun though, man. It's
Hey,
so fun.
I'll try to keep you stocked in weird shit, man.
I appreciate it, especially if it's easy to find on. I mean, I know it's tough, but the ones that are easy to find on streaming, 'cause I'm gonna be starting people like I'm
There are
doing
ways to
more.
find things that are not illegal that just people just don't know about.
There you
So
go.
if ever I will always keep you guys abreast of that if I recommend something that was.
Okay,
So.
there you go. Trevor's our go-to for weird shit, 100%.
Of course, yeah.
Not that he wasn't before, but now it's signed, sealed, and delivered, like the
Delivered,
song.
yeah.
100%.
But no, like as far as the TikToks go, now I'm just it's just whatever movie I'm watching during the day or whatever movie I think
Mhm.
of. Like today's was actually Tuesday's movie. I was like, I have to tell people about this that are into that type of horror. I had to throw in the Cat 3 that I
Yep.
the Cat 3 category 3, because I'm like,
Mhm.
this is something. If you're into the extreme crazy horror, check it out. If you're not, the only time I tell you not to watch your movies is if it's really gonna bother, like really make you feel uncomfortable, and it's more
Mhm.
so when it's like crazy extreme shit. You know what I mean? Versus like a slasher or something like that. It's just like whatever. But the crazy extreme, that when I say if I tell you to watch at your own risk, that's not because it's a bad movie. That's because it's more so of it may really mess with you mentally. It may really bother you, like hurt your soul.
It might trigger something.
Trigger, that's the word. Trigger you.
Yes,
I keep
trigger.
getting that same word. Trigger. So yeah, that's one of those. But I had to. I'm just like, 'cause there's so many people out there that would enjoy that movie or may have never heard of it, and then there's also people that like movies based on true events or movies based on true stories, and that is, and people may want to read that or watch that, and then watch that, and then go back and.
It's important to, if because a movie like Dr. Lom is an extraordinarily good true crime movie, yet still made very much for entertainment, but was very true to the case. And right now, I mean, I know from my kids and everything, true crime is so amazingly popular, and that's why I say, like a film like Dr. Lamb, there is one example of, there are a lot of great serial killer films out of Scandinavia, of all places.
Oh wow!
So there's all kind of fun stuff if you just dig.
Yeah, well, be digging for more in here, people. Trust me. Now,
It's so much better to, like, as I said before, Dr. Lom is based on a true story. Texas Chainsaw Massacre uses it as a tagline.
It's
to make people think
very loosely based.
Yeah,
very loosely based. But I will say this about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. They did a very good fucking job making you think that it was like really based off of some real shit, like 100%.
Which one was that? Leatherface?
Is that the one
that followed?
Is it the one that came with the did it come with the thing that you bought the movie? It comes with the letters and the clippings and
the
shit.
metal case. It came with like you open up like a little evidence thing and it had like little picture. It had like pictures of like evidence pictures from the movie, I believe.
Okay. Well, that wasn't the one that was. Cause this is the thing. So as far as a franchise, it has a very problematic history. Texas Chainsaw Massacre films make no conceivable sense when it comes to that. Because when I ask, of course, there's the sequel by Tobe Hooper, which either it's a love or hate thing, but it is so wonderful. Then Leatherface came out. Then there was the McConaughey one, and there was something. It gets so confusing.
Oh, this one was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This one came out. I'll show you the movie cover. Hang on one second. Get it loaded up. But this one came out in 2003. It was Jessica Biel. That was her name, right?
Yeah. Is this the one in the beginning where the girl runs into the road? She has the gun in her crotch.
Yep, and shoots herself in the mouth.
Yep.
And they show all that. Her head goes
in the
back.
truck.
Yep.
Oh yes. The first, what was supposed to be official sequel.
To me, that's my favorite one. That's the best one.
It's pretty good. It's a weird franchise because if you look at them as a franchise, they epically fail.
Oh yeah.
But individually, as standalone films, they're actually pretty good for just fun films. But no, it's I agree. Another thing is, even though Texas Chainsaw 2 is an amazing amount of fun, and Hooper wanted it to be a comedy. The first film, there is nothing like the Texas Chainsaw. So me, by saying, I'm not saying anything bad about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is one of those horror films that literally lives in the 10.5 ratings scale. So I think that also, all these movies will never be what the first one is, and can never be that. So yeah.
First song,
I agree with you. Like, you can watch every one of them. Like, even the newest one that came out, it like the storyline didn't care for, but the kills were awesome. It's like
that's the Netflix one.
Yeah,
the Netflix one that was. I mean, was it a good movie? No. Was it mindless fun? Yeah.
Which, mindless fun.
I'm not going to complain about it.
But no, what I was going to say about that one is you finally got some chainsaw kills in it. The bus.
Yeah, a lot of them. He gets on the bus and fucking wipes people out.
Yep.
Okay, so
Remember
here's
this?
I don't know
You're
how we
gonna
got on
get
Texas.
canceled. Oh, sorry. You're canceled. And gets cut in
You're
half.
gonna get canceled.
I don't know how we got on
Let's get to
Texas
this.
Chainsaw Massacre, but one thing I don't know if you guys remember this or not. So the third Texas Chainsaw film came out around early 90s, I think, if I remember correctly, late 80s. And its trailer played on the trailer for the film Excalibur by John Borman. And it was all about, this runs in the family, this goes to the family.
Mm.
And eventually you see this silver huge chainsaw come up. Oh, no, I think it's a hand, and it comes up, and this huge silver chainsaw grabs onto it like the Excalibur sword. And that was the teaser trailer
What
for
the hell?
That's
what did not deliver in any way.
Wow.
But
that is
no,
hilarious.
as I said, it's a very problematic, troubled franchise, but bizarrely
Mm.
fun.
Oh man. Oh man. I miss teaser trailers. I hate real trailers. That's why I don't watch them. Just give me a little teaser. Make some shit up for me. Just get me excited about the movie coming out. Don't put the real shit in the movie anymore, people.
Yeah,
If you
stop
want
putting Kendrick
teasers,
Lamar music to film trailers that don't feature Kendrick Lamar music. I think that would be a great thing. Nothing against Kendrick Lamar. It's just, dude's got to be making so much money just having his stuff used in trailers.
Mm.
Yeah.
if you go on TikTok, it's kind of like a teaser. They don't play the whole trailer. You just see like a little clip.
And that's why they should be. A trailer should be like you get like a little clip from something, not even less than a clip though, as far as like, because a clip usually try to get something that's going to draw you in.
No, it's
without
like
spoiling
a 10
yeah, it's like a
thing.
clip.
Yeah.
It's like you get to the point, you get the funny thing, but not the most funny part. You get that thing that's going to draw you, and then you go check the whole thing out. Just give me something that's going to draw me in.
So to slowly bring it back to the film that we were talking about, Loose. So the director for Cuckoo, since Loose actually was, on the festival circuit, as I said, it was very, very popular. It was critically very, very popular, based on basically the fact that it is so up into interpretation. But him doing a fully length film was anticipated enough that about 6 months before anything else was released was a single image of an actress in a wheelchair in a mental institution, or what seemed to be a mental institution because she is strapped into the chair. That went viral enough via Bloody Disgusting, things like that, that got people excited for what's this guy going to do next. And it's funny how, like, social media and things like that, you can still do the showmanship thing by, like, okay, this is an anticipated film by an experimental director. It's anticipated enough that we can just drop an image, and then, like, it just grows its own little history and rumors until the teaser drops. So, that's kind of cool. I'm really excited to see Cuckoo now, especially after
seeing this.
Hopefully not completely misinterpreting this film. And I have to say to Mr. Springer, I am totally sorry if I just did not get what you were going for. But
listen, I'm not apologizing. I didn't
It'd be funny.
It'd
be funny. He's watching. He's like, God damn it. That makes more sense than I thought. It's my movie.
God, you're worse than the screenwriter.
Someone reach out to this guy. We need to fucking hire him. Listen, Trevor, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a premise of a movie, but you need to make it make more sense. We need to use
this is why I don't leave the writers on the set.
Start hanging out with the writers. Hey, would you just put this and this here? People watching the movie like, holy fucking shit! Wow.
It really did sound. That crazy, really does. When he talks, it really does sound like you're interviewing the director. Like he's telling the inside scoops. Like, this is what I mean about this scene right here. And you're like, damn, I didn't get that.
Like I said, I don't know if any of it is honestly, what the intention was, but
if it is. I am jealous of your brain, because what you come up with, if it is wrong, it's still genius
It might
at the same
had
time.
made sense, you know.
Yeah, it's genius at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like yeah, so it's
yeah,
good.
I agree.
like
I
it.
agree. It made sense. It put things together for
Yeah.
me, even if it's wrong. It put something together for me.
It helped Aaron out somewhat.
Yeah, it was like, you know, having a, like at first watching the movie, I felt like I had a puzzle with all the wrong pieces, and Trevor was like, "No, you just got to turn them around.
Yeah, you got to
Turn
put them
this
down to
way
hit it.
and-
You got to hit them with a hammer, make them fit.
Hit him with a hammer."
Like I said
Both times-
before, when I discovered there was an IMDb synopsis of a narrative, I was really disappointed.
Man.
So yeah,
Hey,
You're like, who wrote this junk? This is not what this movie's about.
who wrote this and that? This is not what this is about at all.
You know?
But we're gonna wrap this one up though, people. We had a
Cool.
great time, and Battle Royal and Sleep Tight next week. I can't wait.
Where is Sleep Tight from?
I'm not sure, but I will look up to it and get back to you guys on that one. With Sleep Tight, I'm excited for both movies because Sleep Tight I've never seen.
That'd be first for me too.
Battle Royal I've seen one time and it was a great freaking time. But really quick, Ambassador Media, go check that out.
Thank you again.
Popcorn and Pints, go check that out. And HorrorWithSirSturdy, come check it out every Tuesday and Thursday during Sturd-o-Ween at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And once the time changes, the days change, I'll let you guys know when that comes. But during Sturd-o-Ween, from now until Halloween, September 1st to Halloween. So, you know, stay tuned. Well, yeah, we're finishing the year off with more foreign horror. I cannot wait. Black and white horror next month will be, or in November. Be on the
You guys
lookout.
are doing Black Sabbath or Black Sunday is on there, right? Baba's film?
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
I believe so. I got to double check, but I think Mick did put that one on there.
I think that one's on there.
Yeah, so November is going to be black and white, and December is foreign beach horror. Yeah. We want to stay warm in December, at least where we're from. I don't know where everybody else is from, but where we're at, it's fucking cold in December. Want to be somewhere tropical, somewhere nice. Somewhere, may not be tropical, but it's going to be at a beach. I don't know where it's going to be. We'll find out. You guys will find out too, so stick around. Make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, that share. And come check me out on TikTok too. I've been pretty active over there lately. I'm gonna try to stay active. With that said, I'll see you in your nightmares. Peace.
Peace.